Are feelings coded, replicated, and genetically propagated across time? As machines occupy psychological spaces once reserved for human connection, something profoundly real is quietly receding, a longing for what is innately alive. I call this organic anemoia. Anemoia itself refers to a feeling of nostalgia for a time or place that you've never personally experienced. The feeling of anemoia is characteristically evoked when watching movies from the Golden Age, when love was still alive, romance was real, and dreams were within reach. Despite never having been there, these time periods somehow appear far more real than relationships that we burn through in real life. What appears as the Golden Age syndrome is an erroneous notion that a different time period is better than the one that we are living in. As the digital footprint invading our consciousness dilutes our natural biological patterns, we are being drawn deeper and deeper into a reality where humans are becoming more artificial and machines more intelligent. This intelligence, by definition, is artificial and inherently inanimate. I spoke about how technology is displacing our natural biological instincts in my TEDx talk, and in doing so got banned because it may upset some people. Time, however, has only reinforced what we risk losing, turning biology into a vestigial calling and instinct into anemoia. Unlike building muscle, where stress results in growth and strength, we cannot strengthen the mind with more thought. The brain requires a different process to reach its full potential, one of silence and freedom. This is what allows the mind to break free of recursive thought patterns for the emergence of something new. Interaction with inanimate machines robs us of this very silence and reinforces recursive cycles of thought to keep flowing. This false thought gives us an illusion of intellectual progress, yet in reality, it is stripping away the very neural infrastructure where thought itself is born. If we keep going forward in life with a growing sense of there is something missing, our life will soon lose all meaning. There was a time when our basic biology had meaning, where food and shelter was enough to support a sense of safety and security. There exists an inextricable relationship between the amount of energy spent hunting and the recovery of that energy when we consume our keep. Dopamine was released in the pursuit of game, and the pleasure centers in our brain was lit up upon consumption. This anticipation of reward was prolonged when man first interfered with the laws of nature 10,000 years ago through herding and harvesting. Man suddenly had surplus, extending the sense of safety and security. Hunting was then replaced with hard work, and surplus with savings, preserving the dopamine pathway in pursuit of reward. Seasons changed and civilizations came and went, yet this dopamine pathway remained intact until the invention of a seemingly harmless technology. This wasn't the internet, nor was it social media. It was, however, our first contact with artificial intelligence, although we didn't know it at that time until it was already too late. This technology was called the recommendation algorithm, and from the onset, it was a race to the bottom of the brainstem by design. No other technology infiltrated our hardwired biology as intrusively as recommendation algorithms. The inextricable relationship between energy and reward was suddenly hijacked by instantaneous reward without effort. We may not realize it, but our survival instinct of pursuit in anticipation of reward has been silently immobilized. Nowhere else has the impact of replacing effort with ease more apparent than in relationships. Dating apps single-handedly immobilize the characteristics of pursuit. When access is limited, connection is no longer fleeting and inherently contains meaning. It is only natural for men to be rejected up front. Before dating apps, This rejection fueled motivation. Men did not take no for an answer. If the rejection was real, men were forced to dig deeper and become the best version of themselves to win over a woman's heart.
No war can come into our world, Ashley. Whatever comes, I'll love you just as I do now, until I die.
Women called this chemistry. For men, it is simply biology. Dating apps rob men of the opportunity to pursue since the rejection is final. This rejection holds no information and is inherently meaningless. Without information, men lack the context to better themselves and instead cast a wider net. Yet, it is context that allows men to gauge beauty that is beyond the surface, something that is worth pursuing. Our second contact with AI tackles something far more profound. For many, thinking machines have made the pursuit of knowledge irrelevant. However, it is not knowledge that has become irrelevant, but rather thought itself. We are now locked into a race to singularity. Our ability to think is one of the most remarkable constructs of evolution. The genetic gymnastics required to assemble a structure capable of thinking is both delicate and, unlike any other organ of the body, incomplete at birth. Evolution realized that an organ capable of thought cannot simply be coded, yet some characteristics like emotion can be hardwired. To answer the question, are feelings coded, replicated, and genetically propagated across time, is something that I attempted to answer in my PhD thesis 10 years ago, titled Mapping the Genetic Influence on Brain Structure. If you follow thought long enough, something profound becomes apparent, a consciousness that precedes thought. If this consciousness did not exist, how would we be able to suspend thought in our mind, articulate different perspectives, and synthesize ideas from seemingly abstract firing of synapses? We are now at crossroads with our own evolutionary impulse. Our thoughts are now colliding with an inanimate intelligence. Unlike biological relationships, emotional attachment to synthetic intelligence does not bear the burden of loss, self-control, patience, and the finesse required to establish healthy, stable, and meaningful relationships. Interactions devoid of life is being absorbed by an organ that is not genetically equipped for the formless. This synthetic interactions evokes a deep yearning, an organic anemoia for something biological, emotional, and real. As humanity propels itself towards singularity through augmentation with the artificial, I beg to differ. I believe the future belongs to those who remember.